I would say the book is just a person who's born different from everybody else, and he's just trying to fit in.
So basically, Victor Frankenstein, he's like this scientist, and he really wants to bring the dead back to life. So he like digs people's graves, and he like creates this monster, and then he brings it back to life, and then he realizes that he thinks it's evil, and then he like runs away, and he just, everything is like a downward spiral, and then the monster gets angry, and then, yeah, pretty much.
I'd say Frankenstein is really about the power of science and whether human beings can control it. Using the example of Victor Frankenstein as one human being who is very passionate about science and tries and thinks he can control it and quickly discovers he can't. But it's more allegorical and about all human beings and about all science and whether we are creating monsters we can't control.
Well, I pictured him in the traditional sense where he had nails in his head and was green and probably really big.
Probably when Victor Frankenstein created the monster, because I thought that scene was super easy to visualize. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that anybody can get away from the whole bolt-necked, flat-head zombie look thing from Hollywood.
My favorite part would be the part where the monster is telling the story to Victor, because I feel like that part reveals a lot, and a lot of depth about the monster and his feelings.
My favorite part of the book? Gosh. My favorite part of the book has to be the conversations between the Frankenstein's monster and Victor Frankenstein himself. I love the way the monster articulates himself.
Emotional.
Well, I felt like the whole book was just trying to show that there's this person who's different from everybody else, and he's just trying to fit in.
I thought he would look like the typical like rectangular like head with like the screws, and then just really big and kind of pale. Yeah.
I think the book brings on a real sense of introspection and even a kind of a dark view of human beings. I mean, the poor monster, however evil some of his acts are, is really just shunned by everybody else. And it kind of spurs you to consider whether human beings are just really superficial and can't get past things like looks, So I would say it left me questioning whether human nature is really a good thing or not, which I think it's healthy to question. I'm pretty committed to the idea that humans are basically good, but I like to have that belief tested, whether that's in fiction or in real life. Otherwise, you don't know how strongly you believe it.
I don't think the monster is inherently a bad person. He's just a person who has been put through a lot of hard situations, which causes him to do bad things.
I think it's good. I think Shelley's trying to convey the idea that people are inherently good through this science fiction novel, and the monster was just one of her. She's trying to portray that idea. Yeah.
I think he's fundamentally good, actually. I think the way the story is constructed, I think that's what Shelley wants you to see. This is my theory anyway, is that no matter what horrible actions he does take, and they certainly are horrible, they're all after effects of being shunned and attacked and in every way alienated by human beings. I think it's a story of again, we're creating monsters, and whether that's through science or through our own social behaviors, that we kind of make these things happen. And I feel like that's for that part of the story to work, the monster has to have started out good and been made evil by those experiences. And I don't think I could live like that. I mean, where at every turn, every single person treats you that way, and there is no exception and no release. Plus, who knows how long he would live? I mean, he seems to be indestructible. He was already dead, and now he's alive. Can you imagine, like, living an eternity like that? I mean, it's bad enough to think about a single lifespan, but it's left open to question whether the Frankenstein's creation has the lifespan of a person or not. It would seem not, basically, based on everything else he can do. So yeah, it's a little hard for me to imagine, but I can't say I'd want to live like that. And it's not much of a life, as far as I can tell.
No, because my life sucks. And no matter what I do, like, society most likely won't accept me, so.
Yeah, I would continue to live because suicide is not an answer.
If I were the monster, I would choose to live because the worst thing in life is to die. Yes.